Chat filter. Let's see. All messages. Right, let's make sure this is working first. Ba 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 ba. Alright, hello, welcome to another stream, guys. How are we doing this evening? I am a little late. I am sorry, Big Brain. I do apologise. I had a few things to get ready for today's stream, but we are ready to roll now. Yes, a few minutes behind schedule. But what else we got? Not several minutes early, so you are late. I am late. And let's put the chat filter on straight away so we don't have to do that later. Thank you for that reminder, Big Brain. Alex, hello, Big Brain from Denmark. Primer is on. Look at that. We got some primer. There's some colour on the second section of the build now. So we are moving forward. Got quite a bit done today. I've obviously had the whole day to work on the project. So got a coat of black on it, and then I've put some Xandri dust on top. So you can see, you know, roughly how it's going to look moving forward. There might be a few changes. So at the moment, I'm a little bit unhappy with the way that the Aquila lander is looking. Not in terms of like the blue or anything, it's just because I ended up using a bit of a lighter tone for the earth and sand around the side of it. What I'm thinking is that I might repaint that in Xandri dust and then blend it in with the rest of the board, instead of what I was going to do, which was use some shades and stuff to tie it in. Just because every time I look at it at the moment, it just seems a little bit jarring, so that might be one of the things I change. Good evening, Ginger Steve. How are we doing this evening? We are full speed ahead. We are. We're well into section 2 now for the Hobby House Hive build. As I was just saying, there's potentially a few more changes in store, but I'm kind of feeling it out at the moment. I wasn't too happy with the way the Aquila was looking, but yeah, I'm going to feel it out this stream, and we'll see what happens. Buckshot, good evening, Buckshot. Big Brain, internet guy. It's good to see you here this evening, Big Brain. We missed you last stream. So, anyway, let me tell you what we are going to do this stream. So, I have a few of these hab pieces. Now, these aren't the fully built habs. These are kind of like the little pads you get in between. We got a few kind of array things. And what I'm going to do is, I really like these little pieces, and I definitely want to put them on the board. So I'm going to put some transfers on these, and then I'm going to do a bit of weathering on them. And then once that's done, I'm going to decide whether I want to replace the Aquila lander with more habs. Because basically the way it works at the moment is, even though there's not a whole lot going on compared to our first section of the board, which obviously has the bridge and the ruined dome, there's still quite a lot spread out over the board. So it does sort of come at the expense of the hab units and fitting them in. So what I'm going to do is take a little look at it and decide whether I want to replace the Aquila lander with more habs, just because then it might feel more, I don't know, it might feel like a proper Ash Waste Nomad camp, because at the moment I'm thinking we'll be able to fit these ones on and maybe one hab, but I don't feel like it's going to completely feel like a proper Nomad camp. So yeah, subject to change, I'll just say. But what we're going to do is put a few transfers on this. I've come up with a bit of a different scheme as well. Again, here I am changing everything. But if you take a look back, I know it's off camera at the moment, but if you take a look back at when we were working on our bridge section of this gaming board, I added these little yellow sort of defensive areas, like a few shields that I've kind of painted up and put some transfers on to look like they are associated with the enforcers. And it's this little pop of yellow that fits in quite nicely to the rest of the board. And I think moving forward, what I want to do is incorporate a little bit of that yellow on every section of the board. So for this section, I've painted this sort of hab bit up yellow. And I'm thinking that I might lean more into the enforcers sort of style of things, as opposed to like the Ash Waste Nomads. So I know it's a bit contradictory here, because I'm like, oh, it needs to be a camp. So I'm thinking still camp, but enforcers camp. Because this area is right outside the Hive City, I feel like enforcers would still have more of a presence there than the nomads would. Because I feel like the nomads would just be out in the wastes, you know, they're not going to be right outside the city walls. So that's what I'm leaning into. And also, yeah, just I feel like the little pop of yellow on each section of the board will work out really well. So yeah, I know that was a lot of spiel to start off the stream with, but that's just kind of the thought process at the moment. Graham, sup? How are we doing, Graham? Welcome to the stream. Alex, change what change what happens. I am changing what happens all the time. Because we kind of deviated from the original plan, and I ended up building this sort of ruined manufactorum area just because I feel like it lends itself a bit better to being just out the city and kind of in the wastes. See, I can't even remember what the original idea for that was. I think, yeah, I think we were going to use the missile silos and the little sort of landing pad things. But on further experimentation, it felt like they just kind of got in the way. And I think a few of you actually pointed that out in a previous stream, that it kind of looked like it was potentially in the way. So here we have a bit more to, you know, you can shoot through the terrain here, and you've got a few more lines of sight. So I feel like it works a bit better. Big Brain, it looks hard to move a Bane blade around. Well, you don't need a Bane blade, Big Brain, and you wouldn't have a Bane blade anyway because you play Eldar. But the other tanks would be fine. And to be fair, you could just put it on the top if needs be. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to put some transfers on this. I've got an idea of what sort of transfers I want to put on. Toby from Hobby House has provided me with some fantastic transfers, some of which I'm going to use. I've been eyeing up this Krieg transfer sheet for quite a while. It's going to serve multiple purposes. I'm going to use a few of the Aquilas for this nice yellow pad. And then in future I'm going to use these little mine transfers, or minefield transfers, just because I want to have a little minefield on our bridge section. But yeah, that will be at a later stage. So let's get some transfers on. I think you guys are well aware of how this works by now, because I've done a few transfers on stream. But I always go to the Microset and Microsol. They have just made transfers very, very easy for me. And yeah, it's a lot easier to do now. I remember back in the day trying to put transfers on my Space Marine shoulder pads just using water. Terrible idea, and I think that's what put me off for years and years and years when it came to doing transfers. So now we've figured it out, we are ready to roll. So I think I'm going to use, there's two quite nice smaller Aquila transfers, and I feel like the black ones are going to look much better on the yellow. So that's what we're going to go with. Originally, after our discussion on Friday's stream, I think it was, I was contemplating painting a bunch of these hab units red, but the yellow has kind of won me over at the moment. I've come up with quite a nice yellow that, well, it's a nice effect that the airbrush produces, so I think I'm going to go with it. There'll probably be some other colours on the board as well. You're obviously going to have the blue from the lander if it stays, but if not, there will be a little bit of colour from some of the shipping containers. But it's going to be packed with detail. So there'll be lots to look at when you're playing on this board in Hobby House. Oh, Glenn is here. Glenn is here with the questions. Let's see. Nihilus only question. What's a big mistake you've made in the hobby, and what did you learn from it? Oh, damn. Well, I've made plenty of mistakes, but I'm trying to think of what the biggest mistake I might have made is. I feel like possibly just being impatient when working on larger scale projects can be a bit of a problem, because the way I am, I always want to get stuck in and I just want to get things moving as quickly as possible. And in the past, I've kind of tried to expedite the process. So I remember a while back using a hairdryer I'd put like a thick amount of paint on this terrain I was building, and I tried to use a hairdryer on it, but it didn't really dry out, it just made it all sticky. So I feel like the answer to that is not a specific mistake, it's just about being patient with whatever it is you're doing. Because, yeah, otherwise you can make mistakes. And that's not fun. Big Brain, my friend has a Baneblade and it's awesome. I absolutely agree with you, Big Brain. The Baneblade is a fantastic miniature. It's funny though, because it's a bit of a shame now, because I think a sprue has been taken from the Baneblade kit. So it's still the same price, but you're missing an option potentially. So that's a bit rubbish. Ginger Steve, I'm assuming it's not making the Golden Throne in parts so it can fit out the door. No, Steve, that was that was a very, very big oversight. Again, it kind of reflects how when I make things, I have sometimes, not so much now because I try and take it into account, but in the past I've just wanted to like go for it. So when it came to making the throne, I had the idea and I was like, I'm gonna do it. Didn't think about it going anywhere. But you know, when I was making the this Golden Throne, I had about what, maybe like 8,000 followers on Instagram, so it wasn't particularly like a big thing. It was just me kind of you know, working on a personal project for myself that I was really enjoying. And obviously as the sort of project grew, people were asking me, can I, you know, could I take it to places if need be, like could it be put on display? Which, you know, is a bit of a problem because I built it in a way that it's very, very difficult to move. So yeah, we've learned our lesson from that, and this hobby house table that we're building is in 3 sections that are very easy to handle. So learned my lesson from that, Steve. Big Brain, a saw can split the throne. Oh, I don't think I could do that now. I could probably saw these parts if I was feeling really, really psychotic, but I don't think I'm going to do that. And it's like I say all the time, you know, it can, if it really needed to be moved, it could be, but it is quite heavy. You know, these sections, fantastic. They're, what is it? I think it's potentially 2 foot and then 1 meter high. So those sections are really, really easy to move, but the board itself is quite heavy. So yeah, I'd like to say we've learnt our lesson from that. Ginger Steve, a flatbed truck and a window removed and I'm sure you'll be fine. Well, I have access to a flatbed truck, but it's just an open top flatbed truck, so there's no way of covering it over. One of the perks of being a ground worker is a full-time job. Alright, I have just realised I need a pair of tweezers before I get this going, otherwise I am not going to be able to hold my transfers in place. So if you bear with me 1 second. It usually works out that I forget something when I'm streaming, so you should all be very used to this by now. I can never ever remember what I do with my stuff. This just shows you how organised I am. Okay, well, it's not over here. So, where is it? Where, oh, where, oh, where? I might just have to use my snips instead. I think that's going to be the case, guys. I think that is going to be the case. Okay, looks like I'm using the snips instead. Right, what do we got? Hope for a sunny day. Yeah, do you know what? If it was getting moved, I don't really have the problem with moving it. I think I've kind of mentioned this before, that it's not about moving it particularly, it's about it being in a place for quite a while. So if it was on display somewhere for quite a few months, I'd probably be happy to move it, because then I just know that I wouldn't have to take it back within like a day or two. It's just one of the things about sort of exhibitions and like events is because they're only open for a day or two. It's just not worth the effort to move it. And let's be fair, guys, we're not finished with it yet. We still got way more to do. So, got to get finished first before it goes anywhere, if it goes anywhere. Glenn, think of the followers and views you'd get cutting the Golden Throne with a chainsaw. Yeah, imagine that. I couldn't bring myself to do it. Absolutely couldn't bring myself to do it. Alright, it's like, God, I've just spent so much time on that project now. I have. But we need to see it done. Because then it just gives me the time to focus on some other projects. Because it's been great, you know, I really enjoy this build. I'm very happy with it. But I do want to get it done so I can move forward and build something else that's stupidly big. Alex, you need a Scamel HET to move that. Is that some kind of crane, Alex? I feel like that's some kind of crane. To be fair, I reckon 4 people could lift that out. They could lift it out of the studio. Let's get this transfer lined up. Yeah, it's just a little bit heavier than probably it should be. If I was going to build it again, if for some sick reason I decided I was going to build another Golden Throne, which I won't, I would build it on a lighter base. I just kind of not got lazy, but I found that base on a job, and I just thought it'd be perfect, and because I was kind of impatient and wanted to get started, that's what happened. Big Brain, I can bring myself to Bristol and use a chainsaw on it. Yeah, we'll make a video of it, Big Brain. I think that would take more than 100 subscribers, though. Don't you? I think that's a bit more than 100. Okay, let's just try and get this a bit straighter. Cool. Yeah, but it'll be nice when I do get back to working on the throne. I am looking forward to working on it again. Mentioned in Friday's stream that I've learnt quite a few techniques now from working on this table for Hobby House. Because obviously, like, I'm using an airbrush now. I was using an airbrush on that, but just a different one. And I've kind of got more familiar with how to work an airbrush and how to use it. So when we get back to working on the Golden Throne, I feel like it's going to speed up quite a bit because I just kind of know what I'm doing now and I can save time. A tank transporter. I probably do need one of those, Alex. I think I do. Fryer Guy. Hello, Fryer Guy. How are we doing this evening? Welcome to the stream. I'm just chipping away at some transfers here this evening. But it's been nice to work on, to have the day to work on this project. It has. I'm very happy with the way it's going. And of course, it just takes us a step closer to our hive wall, because that is going to be the ultimate task when it comes to this build. So it's going to take, I think it's going to take more time than it did to, you know, to set up the bridge. Probably to set up both of these, I think it's going to take more time. But it's definitely going to look the part. You know, I've got this vision for it. And I think it's going to be quite imposing when it's done. On top of that, I got a great idea for a paint scheme now, because we'll be using those wall sections from the Imperial sector, and obviously the idea is not to pick out all the details on those, because a Hive City wall is going to have been there for millennia potentially, so those walls are going to be battered and just haggard, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to use some metallics as a base, and then dry brush some darker colours and possibly black on top, so you get that kind of you know, dark steel-ish effect. Because I like to imagine that the bottom of the Hive City is made of like a kind of metal that is very, very durable. Because for that Hive City to stay up for that long and for the walls to stay up for that long, they must be made of something that's just really hard to destroy. Because otherwise they'd be replacing the walls all the time. especially with the silica storms and stuff. Okay, so we got some Aquillas on, and then we are going to revisit these yellow and black transfers that I used for my kind of defensive positions. And I really, really like these. I do. I will remind you guys of what they look like. So, if you see, where are they? Just up here. No, that's the wrong side. This side. I'm looking at the screen, see, and I got it all wrong. But yeah, so I'm going to use a few of them, because again, it'll tie into our defensive positions on the bridge. And yeah, I just want that kind of reference to the enforcers on each section, just as a little underlying theme. Isn't fun to break stuff you made. It's not, Big Brain. It's not. Especially that time the Custody fell off the shelf again because of you, Big Brain, and broke on the floor. But you did, you did name him. You did adopt him and name him. So, Glenn, nihilist only question. Pardon my ignorance, but what does a ground worker do on site? A ground worker digs trenches, does drainage. What else do we do? Stoning up, just pretty much anything associated with the foundations you'd need to build a house and to build anything else. We do concreting as well, so a whole host of stuff. And yeah, that's my 9 to 5. Not as fun as this though, unfortunately, and a lot more effort than this. Graham, oh, sewage pipes with flowing goop. It's not so fun at times. I will tell you guys that. It's definitely not fun at times. But that's what the gloves are for. Big Brain, numbers? Numbers, Big Brain? Okay, so let's get a few of these on. I want to use some of the bigger ones. So, let's do this. Where's my knife? Yeah, I kind of quickly, well, I didn't build it up because some of these are already built, but I painted the top of this one just before the stream because where we're at the moment in terms of this second section is, I've put all the base colors down obviously, but now I need some shades for it, and it just so happens today that I don't have any more camo shade, so I need to get a little bit more camo shade, because that's kind of one of the integral parts of this, is having the shades underneath before I do the dry brush layer. So I've ran out of camo shade. I got plenty of sepia, which is one of the other colors, but I just need some more camo shade before I continue. And then I can airbrush that on obviously, and then boom, dry brush all over. And we're cooking with fire then. Glenn, so you are a terrain guy in work and hobbies. Do you know what, Glenn? I didn't think about it like that, but that is kind of how it works. Both my job and my hobbies revolve around scenery and terrain. Never thought about that before, Glenn. That is a good shout. In fact, it's weird that I didn't think about that before. That's clever. Dice Bay, I came to your account through TikTok. Fair enough, Dice Bay. Welcome to the stream. I'm afraid I don't post as much on TikTok anymore. I feel I had a little bit of a grumble on TikTok about TikTok. I feel like they don't push the stuff as much as Instagram do, and it's a bit of a shame because I think I got like 30,000 on TikTok, and it's annoying sometimes uploading a video and it shows it to less than 1,000 people, because I'm thinking, what is the point in having 30,000 followers if you're only going to show it to a handful of people, and most of the time not even people who are subscribed to the page or following the page. What's going on? Well, Dice Bay, we are working on something that isn't the Golden Throne at the moment. We are working on a massive gaming board for Hobby House, based in Southampton, and what we're doing is, it's like a sort of Hive City meets the Ash Waste build. So at the moment I've got 2 sections that I'm working on that are sort of Ash Waste based. Well, that's a mouthful. Ash Wastes based. And then the 3rd section of the table is going to be like a Hive City wall. So yeah, that's what we're doing at the moment, and right now I'm applying some transfers, which some of the regulars will know is my favourite part of any build, is applying some transfers. It just adds that extra level of character. I did end up adding a load of them to the throne room. I'm really happy with them, but I need to go back. So when we finish this project and I do some more work on the throne room, I need to finish. And this isn't this isn't really a job that I'm looking forward to, but I thought that edge highlighting it would be a good idea, just to kind of bring the gold out a little bit more. Because looking at it in hindsight, I think I got a little bit too dark with some of the tones that went on top of the gold. So what I want to do is edge highlight with some gold to kind of bring it back through a little bit. Again, this kind of goes, it sort of follows what we were talking about earlier, because when I started this project, it was about 4 years ago, and I'd kind of not been back in the hobby that long, so a lot of techniques and stuff I hadn't really learnt yet. And now, with the power of hindsight, I can look back and be like, oh, I should have done this differently, should have done this differently, should have done this differently. And what we're going to do is, when I get back to it, I am going to use some of what I've learned and hopefully push it in the right direction a bit faster than what's been happening. So yeah, that's what is going on. Big Brain, you will not spot me on TikTok. That is fair enough, Big Brain. That is absolutely understandable. I know some people just choose to use TikTok, some people use Instagram, and I use all three. I use Instagram, I use TikTok, and I use YouTube. Although, as I said, I don't really use TikTok as much anymore just because I feel like it's kind of got a bit rubbish. So I tend to stay away from it at the moment. The main places are really Instagram, and obviously I stream here on YouTube. And I do occasionally put up videos, although I've been lagging behind a little bit, just because I'm trying to get this new project to a place where, well, it's done, or I'm happy to sort of take the time to make a little video about it. But I think what we're doing at the moment is just kind of full steam ahead, streaming it, and then when I go to put the video together, I can use a mix of clips I've recorded when I'm not streaming, and also like streaming stuff as well. So yeah, it's all go here at the moment, but it's all very enjoyable, it is. I heard once, right, someone said, like, the crossover between making your hobby your job makes it not as enjoyable, and I feel like that's bullshit. I feel like that's a lie told to people so they don't pursue it. Because I love doing this, I absolutely love doing this. And if I was able to do this instead of dig holes, I absolutely would, in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. So the next person who tells you, oh, if you make your hobby your job, it won't be enjoyable, tell them to piss off. I think I'm going to need to submerge that for a little bit longer. So yeah, I'm not going to put a huge amount of transfers. I probably want to do some numbers on the top of here. So I might use some of these bigger ones that I've got on this Necromunda transfer sheet. And then I would like to put some of these hazard stripes on the sides. So try and do that as well. Gargaloth, hello Gargaloth. Haven't seen you for a while. How are you doing? Welcome to tonight's stream. Just hanging out for a little bit this evening. Hang out for a few hours, get some work done. Put some hours into the project. Gargaloth digging the new camera. Well, you can thank, if he's still here, Ginger Steve for that. Ginger Steve very kindly got us a new camera for the channel. And yeah, it means that you guys can get a much better look at what's going on. And I love it. It's fantastic. The detail is just crisp. It's so very crisp. Pun intended, indeed. So my next favourite step after applying transfers is the weathering stage. I've been having a lot of fun with sponge and rhinox hide and like stippling, I suppose it's not stippling, like dabbing some chips on there and then coming back in with an oil wash. So that is going to be very, very enjoyable once we have got these transfers down and we've given it a coat of varnish. That's next on the agenda. And what I want to do really is kind of get everything up to a certain level so I can come back in and add a few more details, because I've mentioned before that I really want to put like a little minefield in our bridge section. And then obviously I want to do some more propaganda posters. I've got to do a little bit more weathering, and yeah, just kind of taking the time to add these little details in that hopefully you guys will appreciate when you are playing on the board. People have different experiences in life. Some need their hobby and job to be different, and some need it to be the same. I couldn't agree more, Big Brain. I know it works differently for everyone. I am just going by my personal experience. I know you can't always combine the two. But, yeah, I appreciate that, Big Brain. Okay, let's get some numbers on here. I'm going to try and use some of these stencil ones. I don't know whether I should put them in white instead of black. I think they'd probably come up better as black though, wouldn't they? So let's use some of these stencil numbers. What do we go with? Number 1? I don't think it's going to be outpost number 1. I feel like it's going to be outpost... I don't know. Who wants a number that means something to them to go on the hab? Who wants to be the lucky person who gets to choose the number? Double digits, of course. And while we wait for that, while we wait for one of you to choose, I will put something else on there. I will put like a little warning symbol on there, because I feel like you can't go wrong with a warning symbol. I think we'll go with one of these little yellow ones. Sponge dipping and oil wash. Oh, I love it, Alex. I absolutely love it. I feel like it just kind of... it looks really... it just looks really, like, worn and ugly in the best possible way. And yeah, ever since I learnt about oil washes and stippling and everything and using a sponge, love it. There we go, we have a winner. 16 it is. Graham, white, are you a bit late there, Graham? Big Brain beat you just. Graham, white will stick out. 51, white will stick out. Maybe we'll go with white then. Maybe we will have a happy medium, and we will choose white for Graham, and we will choose 16 for Big Brain. Area 51, yeah. Area 51 on Necromunda. What do they house there? Aliens? Nihilist only question. You were saying the world doesn't move to the beat of just one drum, like a luxurious chair. Others a sad chair for their bum. Oh, how do I answer that one, Glenn? I feel like, yeah, everyone has to make their own decisions. Like, everyone is different. I agree with that. But for me, the reason I was kind of grumbling about people saying don't mix your hobby and your job is because I feel like it can work sometimes, especially if you really, really enjoy what you're doing, which I do. So, yeah, I appreciate that doesn't always work for everyone. But leave my chair alone, Glenn. There's nothing wrong with sad chair. We've discussed this on several occasions. Sad chair is a staple on this channel, and will continue to be a staple on this channel. I think we're going to tuck this little warning symbol away. That should do it. Ah, good, good. Do you know what? I thought as much, Alex. I didn't think, or it kind of surprised me, the idea of you being like, oh, no, I hate it. So I'm glad you feel the same way. Blood for the Blood God. I'm here to drop my like, and I'm off to go see some family. Have a great time, Nihilus and friends. Ah, thank you, Blood for the Blood God. I really appreciate that. Obviously, to the rest of you guys watching, sticking a like on the stream really helps, because it gets YouTube to kind of promote it a little bit more. So if I could trouble you to like the stream, that would be very, very helpful, and I would really, really appreciate it. So thank you in advance. Let's just straighten this up. Sometimes I realized I've kind of forgotten a little bit of a step here. So sometimes, or most of the time actually, not sometimes, most of the time, once I've done my airbrushing, before I apply the transfers, I tend to give it a little bit of a varnish, just so when I'm moving the transfers around with my sharp knife, I don't score up what I've painted. But today, I have forgotten. Gloom Creature, welcome to the stream. Greetings, how are you doing this evening, Gloom? It's good to see you. Blood for the Blood God. Yeah, nerds drop and spread this plague. I don't know about plague. I feel like I'm not affiliated with any of the Chaos Gods. I think this is spreading the good word of the Emperor of Mankind. Quilm talks, Sad Chair will continue until morale improves. I like to think that morale on this channel is pretty good. I like to think that most of the time I'm upbeat. Like, yeah, when I have a grumble about certain things, I can sort of go off on a tangent. But I think morale, for the most part, on this channel is pretty good. Gargaloth done. Thank you very much, Gargaloth. I really appreciate that. It does go a long way. So, let's get some more transfers on. We were doing a 16 for Big Brain, and we are doing a white in... whose choice was that? Was that Graham's choice? Yeah, Graham says white. Let's go with white numbers, and then 16 for Big Brain's choice of number. Just got to choose. I think the slightly smaller one is going to look better. But yeah, anyway, I will show you guys. I'll get this. I forget this actually comes off. I haven't glued it down yet. So I will show you guys what we are looking like. Let's get right in there. Come on. Is it going to pick up my head instead of... there we go. There we go. So yeah, that's what we're looking like. Obviously, that's going to look 10 times better once it's all weathered and once we got some chipping. But I just love the I love the airbrush sort of style and the kind of technique of putting a lighter version of the same color in the middle of each panel. It just kind of adds a bit more depth to flat surfaces. So I really, really enjoy that. Okay, so what we're going to do, we are going to do the 16, the white 16. But yeah, at some stage as well, I think I'm going to need to find another one of these Necromunda sheets. They were a bit of a limited release. Some of them lasted longer than others, but I do remember a bunch of them selling out very, very quickly. And once I've gone through this, I'm going to have to find another one because I use them so often and I really, really enjoy them. Just hopefully don't have to pay a scalper's price and I can get one for a fairly decent price. I guess we'll wait and see. Big Brain, neat! Gargaloth, okay, I think I've missed some streams, but what is that awesome looking hut on stilts in the background? Well, Gargaloth, that is a Ash Waste Nomad hab. I'm not sure whether they specifically count it as Ash Waste Nomad hab, but it's a hab from the Ash Waste expansion for Necromunda. And in this sort of section of the build here, the intention is to use a few of them. Now, I've kind of conflicted myself because obviously they're kind of slightly bigger than they look on the box, I guess. And because I put this crashed Aquila lander on the table, it takes up quite a lot of space. So there's not too much space for a bunch of habs. And at the moment, I'm trying to decide whether I want to kind of nix the lander and just add more habs, or keep the lander and just have less habs. So I'm going to spend this stream thinking about that as well as working on it. Yellow's hard to get down. It is, Graham, but an airbrush makes it a lot easier. Before having an airbrush, I wouldn't touch anything with yellow because I absolutely hate it. Trying to brush yellow onto any miniature is just a pain in the ass, even with a white undercoat or a light undercoat. But airbrush, bum. So simple. And it is a really nice colour, so it's a shame not to be able to use it. Okay, so let's get one from our 16. Big Brain, I didn't miss last stream, failed to load. It's different. I see, it failed to load. Well, do you know what? I ended up doing a stream yesterday as well. I think there was a few of you guys caught up with me on that one. Not sure whether those guys are here with us today. But I figured that I was working on the project anyway, so I may as well get the camera rolling. just so you guys can see more of the process and just hang out for a little bit, basically. Quiln Talks, crash the lander into a hab, best of both worlds. Yeah, well, do you know what? Surprisingly, Quiln, that was kind of an idea, not crashing it directly into the habs, but having the habs built up around it, so kind of suggesting that whoever inhabits the habs, God, has kind of like built their little camp just around it. But I'm kind of moving in a different direction, and I'm using sort of enforcer iconography now. So leaning more into the habs being like a proper, I don't know, like enforcer encampment instead of an Ash Waste Nomads one. So I'm kind of like not able to settle on an idea at the moment, which isn't so good. Kind of flitting through all these different ideas. Gargaloth, we believe you, Big Brain. We believe you. Gloom Creature, doing well, thanks. Love the ruins. On the top right of the board from your angle. These ones? Yeah, thank you. Basically, this was, again, is kind of like a last-minute addition. Sort of a change from our original plan, which was going to be some missile silos. Went for a sort of ruined Manufactorum vibe, just because I feel like it lends itself a little bit better to the environment we're building. And also, you get more lines of sight, and you know, your miniatures can sort of hide in different areas, as opposed to a big silo where you can't see anything and you could just line up your miniatures behind it. I feel like that's kind of not very interesting for gameplay. Glenn, try pink undercoats to bring out the vibrancy of your yellows. I will do that, Glenn. I think I have seen that before, but thank you for that. Thank you for that advice. I will certainly try that. Gloom Creature, I was trying out new Necromunda yesterday. How did you get on with it, Gloom Creature? Did you enjoy? Is it fun? I remember sort of seeing it again, because you all know I don't play. I don't play any of the games, but I've seen mixed things at the moment. When I see anything Necromunda related, and people talking about the new edition, I do hear mixed things. So, what do you guys make of it? Those of you who've played. Rover, apologies for recent absences. I'm currently on safari in northern Uganda, and I'm currently watching the stream surrounded by mosquito netting. That sounds awesome. No need to apologise, Rover. It's like I always say, these streams are here for you guys to drop in and drop out whenever you so choose and please. But that's pretty cool to know that you're watching while you're on holiday on a safari. That is very, very cool. It's worth letting you know that I will not be streaming next Friday, because I too will be on holiday in Switzerland. So I will not be streaming over that weekend or the Friday. Friday and Sunday will both be off, unfortunately. But my last stream before then will be this coming Wednesday. I'll be on for a few hours on Wednesday to get some work done. But yeah, unfortunately you guys are going to have to do without a stream on this weekend. So I apologise for that in advance. Love the Aquila lander, but follow your thoughts. If you would survive the Ash Waste, you would need a strong gang, more trigger fingers, more habs. I like that, Alex. I like that. Again, the thing is, just because we don't use the Aquila lander in this section, it doesn't mean that it can't get used at all. Because I still obviously have the gate section to build and the hive wall section. So maybe we could put it in there somewhere. We'll just wait and see what happens. Oh, I've seen someone fly into my drink then. Yeah. Okay, so for our guy, more high ground would be good. Well, we're going to have that with, we're definitely going to have that with the hive wall. But I know what you mean. I feel like having a bit more variation would be good. Obviously you've got your little hills and stuff here, but yeah, having habs at different heights would probably look better. So I feel like at the moment I am leaning a bit more into, you know, adding more habs. Hell yeah, conquer those Alps. Well, I'm not doing any skiing. It's more like exploring Switzerland. Never been to Switzerland before, so me and my partner are going. We're doing like a kind of a pretty tourist thing and going for this like bus tour to a bunch of different places. And yeah, just kind of generally exploring. No skiing. Hopefully skiing in the future though. Or snowboarding. I prefer snowboarding. Thy Orange Banana. Hello, Nihilus. Hello, Thy Orange Banana. How are you doing this evening? Gloom Creature. I won both my games. Wee hee. Well done, Gloom Creature. So you had fun then? Alright. Excuse the horrible drinking sounds though. Fragai, if you have spare time and you'll come by the German border, let me know, Nihilus. Do you know what? I would like to see a few of you guys in person at some point. It'd be really nice to meet up and actually, you know, see you guys in person, in the flesh. It might not be possible this time around, Fragai, but maybe in future. And especially for any of you guys visiting here, because obviously we're going to have an upcoming event with the guys down at Hobby House. So, you know, there'll be a proper event for that. A day of games, a day of hanging out, a day of talking about Warhammer. And when I find out the date, I'll let you guys know well in advance. And, you know, maybe some of you will be able to attend. It would be fantastic. Rover, hell yeah, conquer them buses. I will. I will. For the Emperor, I will conquer those buses. Fragai, I can give you a special tour through the historic city of Constance. That would be very cool. Do you know what? Germany is a place that I have not yet been to. So I would very much like to go to Germany. It's on the list. It's definitely on the list. Gloom Creature. Yeah, I left my... I left my message about my thoughts above. Do you have filter on? Let's see. Sorry about that, Gloom Creature. No, it just brushed past me. What do we have? Thank you for subscribing, Isaac. I appreciate that. I got a really squint there because I got a tiny screen on the laptop. Gloom Creature. Yeah, it was really fun to play, though there is less wacky items in the trading post. The game plays more fluidly, but feels slightly less complex and flavorful. So there's a bit of a trade-off there then, Gloom Creature. I mean, as long as you can have fun doing it, because I suppose, depending on who you're playing with, you could probably just play the previous edition if you wanted to, depending on what your opponent or friends prefer. Sorry I missed that though, Gloom Creature. The Orange Banana, that would be awesome. When you go to Norway maybe, again, Big Brain, that's on the list as well. I would love to go to Norway. I'm not really that well travelled. So it's only in the past few years that I've started kind of pushing outside my comfort zone and trying to go abroad and see a lot of the rest of the world. So Norway is on the list as well, Big Brain. It'd be lovely to come to Norway. I'm gonna just read Thy Orange Banana's comment again and again and again. Glenn, group snowboarding trip to Switzerland. We should do that. We should do a throne room trip. We should. Fragai, it's the shopping paradise for the people of Zurich. Well, that is where I'm going, Zurich. I'm sure my missus will absolutely love that. A bit of shopping, a bit of looking around. And we are both very much looking forward to the sights as well. Going to be in full-on tourist mode. Cool, there we go. We have 16. We have a 16 for Big Brain, and we also have it in white. Cool, alright, so I think what we're going to do is probably mirror the same thing on the other side, because I do have another one of these sheets, luckily enough, so I can pinch the 1 and the 6 off of it, and then we can have it mirrored on the other side. But that's what I mean when I say I really want to get another one of these Necromunda sheets, because they are so cool, but they just weren't around long. And I always say that I feel like they should be a mainstay. I would love it if Games Workshop just had the Necromunda transfer stuff up constantly, because I would definitely buy them regularly. Gloom Creature. Also, all the Necromunda characters that don't have models have lost their rules. Oh, what? Which invalidates my House Catalyst Outcast delegation gang I've been working on. What? That sounds pretty crazy. Do you know, it's one of the things that did actually make me think, because I've leafed through a few of the Necromunda books, and you got all these different artworks for characters that didn't end up getting miniatures, and it makes me wonder whether they actually did design the miniatures and just didn't release them for some reason. Because I remember seeing the Catalyst stuff way back in the day, and seeing the two, what's it, the guy and the girl with the sniper or something like that. And I was waiting for that to be a miniature because I was gonna get that, but it never happened. So it's weird that they've kind of culled off those characters now. Graham, is the Hive wall going to have a gate? It is, Graham, but I will temper expectations. The gate is not going to be as big as the gate in the throne room. Okay, it's definitely not going to be that big. We're going to have a much more reasonably sized gate, just because obviously we have to work to some specifications, and not everything can be massive. So yes, we are going to have one though, Graham. Groom Creature, I'll keep working on it though, and when I'm finished it might have official rules, otherwise I'll find a different way to run it. Yeah, you just make it work. There's no point in dropping the project just because it doesn't have rules now. I feel like if you worked hard and are currently working hard on a project, you may as well see it through, because you've put all this effort in anyway, haven't you? So, okay. So let's mirror this transfer on the other side. Big Brain, motors. You need to practice. Yeah, that's a good point, Big Brain. Maybe I should practice. Practice for the big gate, the big brain gate. Okay, so let's get this other one on here. I think the white was a good call, actually. I think the white does look good. Instead of just having everything black on yellow, it's nice for a little bit of variety there. So yeah, don't forget, guys, as well, I know I say this every stream, but if you enjoy these, please consider becoming a channel member and supporting the channel. You know, it kind of makes it more viable, so I can do more of these, basically. And I ended up doing a stream on Saturday, which was nice. I don't usually stream on a Saturday, but I figured, why the hell not? So yeah, it basically just gives me the time to do more of these and share with you guys what I'm working on. So I appreciate it. Other than that, liking and sharing the stream are always appreciated too. Along with all the links I have in my video description. They also help out. This one is not playing ball. Submerge it for a bit longer. Yeah, so one of the other ideas that I'm going with as well is I've seen this just today, because I have a tendency to leaf through people's Necromunda pictures and scenery on Instagram, and again, I didn't really look at the name because I just kind of get ideas from the images, so apologies for whoever came up with this first, but I'm going to use some of these hazard stripes along the side of the sort of hab supports, just because I don't know, it looks really good. The picture I seen was really good, so I'm gonna nab that idea and use it on these. I just need to make sure I cut them to the right size. You can't afford it in this economy, but Big Brain, your name is green. Graham, the gate needs road markers of skulls on posts or piles of skulls around with red X's on them. I like that idea. I like the skulls on posts idea, Graham. I feel like that would be awesome. That'll be one for sure. I think I'm gonna go with that idea in some capacity, Graham. Gloom Creature, I'm trying to come up with a background lore for my Beastman bounty hunter gang. I've given them bits of Inquisition and Ministorum bling, but I can't really explain why Beastmen would join them. Oh, I'm not sure about that, Gloom Creature. I'm sure you could finagle away, because don't you have like the different sort of extreme Inquisitors? So, you know, there could be some correlation between the Inquisitors who use more extreme methods and use, I can't remember the names of them, but they use like Xenos weaponry and stuff like that. So maybe there would be a reason for them to, you know, work with Beastmen. You can definitely make it work. You can definitely make it work. Graham, the X on the skulls is from old Necromunda artwork. That is very cool. I need to look at some old Necromunda artwork. One of the pieces that I remember very vividly is the oh, what do they call? What's the regiment there? The Spiders. That's it. The Necromundan Spiders. And he's walking through like the ash wastes just outside of the hive, and he's got his long coat on and he's got his respirator and everything. And I think it's an awesome piece of art, and it is an old one, but it's very, very cool. Sometimes I feel like the artwork has a bit more character, the older stuff. Not that the new stuff isn't cool, like the new Necromunda artwork is very, very cool, but I do like looking back at some of the black and white images that they've done. I think it was a Blanche piece as well, if I'm not mistaken. Glenn, Inquisitor Beast Mode, exactly that. You can definitely make that work. I mean, it's the 41st millennium. You can definitely make it work. All right, so we need 6 just to mirror the 16, and then I kind of want some sort of writing, maybe. Maybe some smaller transfers. I'll have a look through my smaller transfers in a second, see if I've got any writing that I can put on the bottom of these. But yeah, we still have our work cut out for us. We still have plenty left to do in this project. The only thing I'm worried about slightly is, again, sort of goes back to space in this studio here, but I'm a little bit worried about trying to set it up so I can look at it all as one board, because at the moment, you know, space is at a bit of a premium here in the studio. So I'm going to have to try and make something work. I'm sure I could sort of lay it out this way, but I just need a couple of tables that are the same height. Graham, that's the old work I love, that it's not... Sorry. That's the old art I love, that it's not implied it's the 8th, but I'm... God, I'm butchering this. But I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks it's the Spiders. Ah, I see. It's not explicitly implied it's the Spiders. That's just the place my brain went. You know, when I seen that artwork, I was like, okay, this is what the Spiders are going to look like. And I still hope in future they do kind of look like that. I like that they have... I think it was specifically the helmet. And a bit of a reassuring thing is if you look at the... Oh, what's the delegation called with the woman with the shotgun and the guy with the eagle leg? I keep forgetting them. Every time we're on stream and I bring them up, I forget them. But those guys, the woman with the shotgun under her arm, she has the helmet as well, like the Spider's helmet. So, you know, with any luck, we will get some Spiders. Even if they end up tying it into Necromunda, I feel like it'd be really cool. I just want a set of plastic Necromundan Spiders. Then I'll be happy. I promise I won't ask for anything else. Gloom Creature, I like the idea. One radical Inquisitor putting together a team like Ocean's 11. Exactly, something like that. That'd be fantastic. Isaac Schaefer, Inquisitors can be classed as Puritan or Radical. Yeah, that's it. Puritan or Radical. Eisenhorn became more radical as his story progressed, and eventually allied with a demon host psyker. I should have said spoiler there, but I'm sure, I guess most of you are probably aware of that by now. But yeah, exactly like Isaac says, that's it, Puritan and Radical, so we could definitely go with like a Radical Inquisition sort of thing, for those Beastmen Gloom. Feel like that'd be very cool. Graham, I hope so, so do I. So do I. There's still loads of miniatures that I would like to see, both in 40k and in Necromunda. You know, I feel like there's still a well to, you know, to draw from. There's like a well of miniatures that haven't been either sort of remade or sort of explored in general. And I feel like the Necromundan Spiders are definitely one of those. There's also Scavies, and I know I mentioned Scavies like every other stream, but we haven't had them in Necromunda yet, and I would love to see updated Scavies. And then since we're on the wish listing, I would love to see more regiments of Guard. You know, it's one of the things that got me into Warhammer 40k was seeing all the units of Guard. And we're getting better. You know, we got Plastic Krieg now. We've got well, we got New Cadian, so I guess that's not too much of a change. There is Rough Riders. What else have we got? We're getting Steel Legion, so I'm hoping that, you know, eventually we'll get some of those older regiments back. So Valhallans, Mordian Iron Guard, Katachans would be fantastic. I feel like they need to make a reappearance. Joke, hello Joke, how are you doing this evening? Welcome to the stream. What? Eisenhorn done something shady, says Big Brain. Yeah, he's done a few shady things, Big Brain. I hate to break it to you. Joke, candle night, I see. Do you know what? I have these here all of the time on every stream, but sometimes I forget to light them up. And when I say light them up, they are just electric. I'm not putting anything at risk in this wooden studio with real candles. But yeah, they are usually there. Glenn, I do like Scabby. So do I, Glenn. I would love to see them remade and sort of remodeled, and just sort of see what the Necromunda design team come up with. Also kit bashing potential as well for Scabbies. Tiny Lord, hello, hello, hello. Hello, Tiny Lord. Welcome to the stream. It's good to see you. Isaac, my inquisitorial agent's kill team has a crew member. Lore-wise, she is used to sniff out Genestealer taint. That was worded interestingly, Isaac. That was worded very interestingly. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You can get away with it, especially with radical inquisitors, because they're just going to use whatever they have at their disposal. So having a crew as part of the inquisitorial agents makes sense. It's also very cool. It's a cool excuse to paint up a crew. Big Brain, I want fire in the studio. No, Big Brain. First the chainsaw, now fire. I'm going to have to bar you from the studio, Big Brain. I'm going to have to say you're not allowed in. Okay, so let's just make sure I haven't got any overspill here. I don't have your best interests at heart. I'm starting to think so, Big Brain. I'm really starting to think so. Gloom, are you going to put a servitor on the hive wall at the gates? Obviously we can't leave the critical job of opening... yeah, we can't, can we? We can't. Do you know who I think would be perfect for the job? There is basically a servitor miniature that is part of the old Inquisitor Karamazov. He sits on the little, the kind of Dreadnought-esque Warwalker thing. And this servitor is really, really cool because he's got no arms or legs or anything. He's just a body with a bunch of wires, and he would be great right next to a door. Now, I do have him already, but he is destined to go on the Golden Throne. So he's going to be like a door servitor for the throne room. But I would love another one just to put on this board. So I might have to have a little trawl through eBay and see what we can do. Isaac Schaefer. Oh my god, that was not intentional, but laugh my ass off. Yeah. No, I didn't think it was intentional, Isaac, but it did make me chuckle a bit. To sniff out that taint. That's a good one. The small brain gate, says Tiny Lord, is kicking off. Nihilus only question, what's something you bought recently that was worth every single penny? One, hobby related, and two, something non-hobby related. All right, that's another good question from Glenn. Well, I can kind of twist that question and tell you something that I didn't pay for, but I think is very, very worth it. And this is going to sound like a really bad plug because they're one of my affiliate links. But my Gaahleri Airbrush that I've been using for this project is really, really good. And yes, full disclosure, I didn't pay anything for it. It was sent to me. But it's just really helped. I've done the Aquila Lander, I've done this hab pad, I've done the shipping containers, the bridge, the dome from section 1. So I'm really, really happy with that. And if I had bought it with my own money, I would say the same thing, because it's just sped up the process. The effect that I can create with it is really, really cool. So yeah, I'm twisting your question a little bit, but that's how I feel about that. Non-hobby related, that's also a good one. I'm trying to think of what I've bought recently that's non-hobby related. I haven't bought anything like in terms of improving quality of life for quite a while. What have I got? Do you know what, Glenn? I'm going to have a little think about that question for number 2, because I'm not sure what I've bought recently that's helped me that much for non-hobby related stuff. Let's move on to the second question. Now, this only question: what's your favourite smell in the world? What do you like to give a good sniff? I think you need to ask that to Isaac's crew. That's who you need to ask, Glenn. What's a good smell? I like, this is going to sound like quite a cliche one, but freshly cut grass. And if that's too much of an obvious one, I'm going to say the smell of like coal, burning coal, because I feel like it gives me a nostalgic sort of feeling for a time where I didn't exist. As weird as that might sound. Yeah, it just makes me think of how things might smell back in the days, you know, back in like, I don't know, 1920s, like 1890s to 1920s. That sounds very, very specific. But yeah, that's one of the other ones as well. The smell of coal. The board is starting to look amazing. What's there still to do on it? Thank you, Tiny Lord. There is still quite a lot to do on it. Obviously, we've got to do our shades. I've got to get some more camo shade before we can continue on with that, because I've got to do the sort of undershades before I dry brush. So we still have to do that yet. And at the beginning of the stream, I was talking about how I'm sort of umming and ahhing about the crashed Aquila lander, and I think I'm leaning towards removing it from this section and adding more habs, just so we've got different height levels to work with, and also make gameplay a bit more interesting. So we might nix that and possibly move it to the next section, so put it on the wall section somewhere. Failing that, I'm sure we have plenty of other projects in the future that it could be handy on. Yeah, we've got to do the habs, we've got to do the dry brushing. I've got to airbrush some browns onto these old metal areas, so the shipping containers that are stuck in the ground. I've got to turn them brown. I've got to add some weathering. I've got to add some liquid pigment. So yeah, plenty more to do though, Tiny Lord. Back in second edition, says Frag Eye. Alex, the smell of cool glass. Cool glass of Gaahleri on the porch. Not quite that level of like very obvious advertising, Alex, but awfully close. I feel like that question just kind of worked out. I know it possibly seems like a disingenuous answer, but if you go back and you look at all the other streams, I have probably talked about using the airbrush like once or twice every stream, just because I wouldn't be doing this without it. You know, I wouldn't be using a brush. I'm not painting everything with a brush. I'm not a psychopath. So yeah, it's very useful. Alright, let's continue anyway. So what I want to do, I'll show you guys what we're looking like again. For those of you who may have missed the first... There we go. I think that's loaded in the detail there. But that's what we're looking like at the moment. It should look really good if we manage to do a couple of these. Obviously, if we replace the Aquila lander, which I think we're going to do, I feel like it's just going to be quite a nice pop of colour on the board. And especially it'll tie us into the first section, which has our little... I wonder if I can get them for you. Just to remind some of you that might not have actually seen them. But done a bunch of these. Again, it might not... Oh! And yeah, they just kind of correlate, and they tell a little bit of a story about possibly the enforcers trying to claim the outskirts of the Hive. I don't know whether it's going to be the outside of Hive Primus. And my idea is that this is Necromunda. Obviously, it could kind of double up as Armageddon as well, because they share very much a similar, you know, kind of toxic wasteland, let's say. So yeah, I kind of like the idea that it tells this like subtle underlying story that the enforcers are reclaiming the outside of the Hive, the wasteland outside. And that's what I want to do. You know, I want these gaming tables to be half kind of diorama and half gaming board. So, you know, you really get that level of immersion and detail. Gloom Creature looks great. Thank you very much, Gloom Creature. I didn't even notice the second board in front of you until you mentioned moving terrain to the other board. How? Full stop. How many of these panels does the full terrain have? I guess that's what you mean. The board itself is going to have 3 sections. Potentially more in the future. We'll see what happens with that. That lies in the hands of Hobby House. But for the time being, what we are doing is 3 sections of kind of ash wastes based terrain. This section is our camp. Our first section that we've done is our bridge. And then the last section is going to be our hive wall. And I've said before that these are kind of semi-modular, so you can mix them around a little bit. But obviously you're kind of limited. You can't have the hive wall in the middle and then have the ash waste either side. I mean, you could do whatever you want, but visually it would look a little bit weird having the wall in the middle. And the future potentially holds exploring inside of the hive. So we'll see whether we decide to push forward with making another 3 sections. Because chatting with Toby at Hobby House, they have a huge like double-sized table, which what did Toby told me the name of it? I want to say it's like Valenberg. I'm getting this really wrong, but yeah, it's kind of like a Mordheim-esque city, and it's a huge table. You've got lots of variation in terms of height. You've got some sewers, really detailed piece, and basically we can kind of copy that same size with this board. So if we choose to, we can have like 3 sections of ash wastes and then your hive wall, and then past the hive wall we can have going into the city, so having maybe more Zone Mortalis tiles, having more like sort of little shanties built up and mechanical bits and bobs going on. So yeah, lots of sort of opportunity in the future. Alex, that's a nice platform. Ties colours together. Thank you, Alex. Yeah, I just like the idea of having maybe a little bit of yellow on each section. So that's what we're going to go with. And I have definitely distracted myself, haven't I? I'm a yapper, guys. I'm a real yapper. Once you get me going, talking about ideas and stuff, I just keep flapping my gums. Wait, is this one what you mean by hive wall, or like actual full length section of fortifications? So this one is not, Tiny Lord. This one is just our ash wastes. I was going to say nomads camp. Originally the idea was a nomads camp, but I think what I'm going to do is it's going to be an enforcers sort of camp. So we're going to have a bunch of habs that are going to have a similar colour scheme to this yellow that we're working on. And this is going to be, yeah, built up hab area. And then once we have done this, the next section will be the hive wall. And the hive wall is going to be the biggest section, not in terms of actual size, because these sections are all the same in terms of like footprint. So they're all 2 by, what is it, 2 by 3? 2 by 4, I think. I feel like I'm getting it wrong somehow, but yes, sorry, they're all the same size footprint. And what we're going to do is just have a lot more verticality with the hive wall. So we're going to have like the ash waste kind of come up to meet the hive wall. It's not just going to be like a jarring, huge section of panels, basically. It's going to look quite natural, like it feeds into the ash wastes, because obviously years and years and years, I don't know why I'm wheezing. I don't know if you can hear that on the microphone there. I'm like, but yeah, so going back to it. The ash wastes are going to kind of like feed into the Hive City wall, so you're going to have that like build up of years of sand and dust and junk and rubbish that are leaning up against the wall. So it looks like almost like the artwork. So you know when you see lots of interpretations of the hives and how they kind of curve up at the bottom, that's what we're going to try and replicate. But it's going to be the biggest piece, the tallest piece, and it's going to be probably the most detailed. So yeah, we have our work cut out for us. It's quite a large undertaking. Obviously, I'm not adding as much in terms of detail as like the throne room, so it's not going to be a 4-year job. Obviously, we've got to do this in. We don't have too much longer to do it, but yeah. So we've got to be reasonable about how many details we put on. But that being said, I still want it to be very interesting. You know, I want people to be able to play and become immersed. 4x2, that's it, Glenn. I'm so bad. When I'm on stream, I just like forget everything. It's really, really bad. Oh, awesome. I can't wait to see that one. Well, the quicker we get this done, the sooner we will work on the Hive wall. And I know there's a few of you actually that are kind of looking forward to the Hive wall section. So we better crack on with it. Okay. So I was looking for some kind of like, I don't know, some kind of writing maybe to put on the landing pad, but we might have to settle for, I don't know, we might have to settle for some of these little numbers. Let me just have a look at what else I have in the, here we go. That's what I want. This sheet, this transfer sheet I really, really like, but it is very difficult to get hold of without buying the kit. And this is the Ridge Hauler transfer sheet. It's got some really cool little details on there, but as I said, it's very hard to get hold of unless you buy the kit. The gate on the wall needs a motor. We can't do 2 motors, Big Brain. We can't do 2 motors. I just can't. I can't. We've got to do this one in a timely manner. Obviously, for the Golden Throne, Big Brain, is much more doable because I have all the time to do that. But I'm not going to do it for the Hobby House build. Maybe in future. Tiny Lord, there is a deadline for this. What do you mean by we don't have too long to do it? So obviously with this build, because I'm building this on behalf of the wonderful team at Hobby House, this is going to be available to play on in their store, and I'm losing it. I'm really, really losing it. Basically, you're going to be able to play on this gaming table down in Southampton in Hobby House in their store. And I have a bit of a deadline. I say deadline like it's really, really serious. Obviously, if it spills over a little bit, I'm sure the guys won't kill me. But yeah, so I don't have like 3 or 4 years to work on this. I have a lot less time than that. So that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Tiny Lord, 500 gifted subs, Big Brain. 500 gifted subs. 22. What are you guys doing negotiating in chat for how many subs it would take for me to add a motorized gate to this project? That is crazy. That is crazy. Unfortunately, I cannot offer it. I cannot offer it for this this build. If it was my own, yeah, maybe I would. Maybe I'd try and tempt Big Brain into funding another motor. But not today. Alright, I'm going to get one of these codes put on here, I think. Just to add a little bit of writing, because we've got like our Aquillas on there, we got some enforcer symbols. I just want a little code on there, just to round it off, I think. Reluctant to say the timeline. Well, I've got about a month and what are we on now? I've probably got a month and 7 days left. If I was going to be exact, a month and 7 days left. So we have to see how much more we are able to achieve in that time frame. If we don't finish it in that time frame, we will have to ask for a little bit of an extension. But at the moment, we are doing pretty well. You know, we are well into our second portion of the build. So I am confident that we will be close to the end. If we don't hit the end, you know, we'll just have to spend a little bit more time doing it. But yeah, that's what we're like in terms of timeline. I'm not reluctant, Big Brain. I'm happy to share the timeline. I'm just very good at umming and ahhing. What else do we have here? Tiny Lord, damn, I gotta paint minis and get to Southampton. We should schedule games on the Discord at some point. Well, Tiny Lord, there is going to be an actual event down at Hobby House. Obviously, as soon as I finish this and get this done, we will organise that. But yeah, there will be like a sort of grand opening, as it were. Oh, there we go. Toby. Toby's lurking. See, Toby is the man. You take as long as you need, my dude. Hashtag sad chair club. I appreciate that, Toby. I just want to make sure that we deliver a very, very interesting gaming table for people to play on. But as I say, at the moment, I think we are doing pretty damn well in terms of timeline. You know, because our first section is essentially done. I will revisit it just to add some little details and stuff. But the reason that I've moved on to this one is because I feel like if we just push forward with each section, going back and adding details isn't too strenuous. So in terms of like working towards the timeline, we're pretty good. But you know, we'll see where it goes. I appreciate that though, Toby. I really do. You've started up Sad Chair again though. I'm not going to hear the end of it. I don't think we're ever going to move on from Sad Chair. Big Brain, Torhammer, make him motorize another gate. No, we're not. We're not doing that. We're definitely not doing that. Right. You and motorizing gates, Big Brain. I feel like that's your thing. I feel like you have a thing for motorized gates. Okay, let's get this here on the bottom. When's the event? So we don't have an exact date yet, Tiny Lord, but it's going to be in the very near future. I will be sure to put it on Discord as soon as we have everything set up. But, as well, it's worth doing this. Hobby House on Instagram, for those of you who have Instagram, go and follow them over there, because anything that I say about dates and stuff, they will also confirm. And you'll probably see it there first as well, to be fair. Also, Hobby House YouTube, they've just started a YouTube channel, so you can find them there. Go and follow them, subscribe, show your support, and then when we have a date for you guys for the grand opening, we will let you know. Big Brain, I have a motorized cap. Oh yeah, that's it, isn't it, Big Brain? I forget. You are the motor guy. Glenn, Sad Chair lives. For now, wait till the one day, right? There will be a day. I don't think it's going to be soon, right? But maybe at some point in the future, I will not tell any of you guys. I will just replace the chair that I'm sat on, and I will wait for you guys to notice. I'll see how much you actually pay attention. Motorized gate, 14 Nihilus immense gaming tables. Oh, don't get me motorizing gates. That'll be the death of me. Sad Chair Fest. Yeah, that's what we're going to go with as well. I really want to go with that now. Sad Chair Fest. We'll make it like an annual thing as well. We will have Sad Chair Fest at Hobby House every year. And what we'll do is each year we will have a new gaming board for you guys to come and play on. And we will have Sad Chair Volume 1, Volume 2, or Sad Chair Fest 1, 2. Not volume, we're not making an album. Cool. If you replace Sad Chair, we riot. You just all unsubscribe. Unsubscribe to the channel and just don't renew your membership either. Just crash the channel. What will you do with the chair when Sad Chair arrives? Well, do you know what, Frag Guy? I think we are going to use your small Sad Chair in the Hive City walls. So I think we're going to have a nice place. What I want to do, basically, is within the Hive walls, I want to have like an outpost. I want to have a Planetary Defense Force outpost, like a little garrison thing going on. And I think just propped up in there somewhere would be really, really good. Also, when it turns up, I'm very much looking forward to showing everyone else Frag Guy, because it looks so cool. Frag Guy has managed to absolutely nail what Sad Chair looks like in 28mm scale. So prepare yourself, guys, because we're going to love it. All I have to do is paint a little bit of lead belcher on it, make it look exactly the same in terms of colours, and we are ready to roll. Okay, so I think we're pretty good now for transfers on the top of this hab pad. So I think what we're going to move on to is some of these hazard stripes that are going to be around the side. So for those of you who may have missed it, these chunky hab sections here have a really nice flat area, which I feel like doesn't have much going on at all. So we're going to add some hazard stripes, again, just to make it pop. The second you do it, I'm super chatting to make the new chair, not my sad chair. I wonder who would be first to notice. I feel like Toby would be the first to notice. Should arrive, where's that gone? Should arrive next week, was sent out Friday. I'm looking forward to it, Frag. I'm very much looking forward to it. Okay, shall we have a crack at these hazard stripes, just to see what it looks like? I am going to probably have to use a pair of scissors for these, I reckon, just because I'm a little bit shit at cutting. So I feel like with the craft knife here, I'm not going to get a dead straight line. So I will get my scissors on the ready, and let's do it. Yeah, so the more I look at this table as well, the more I feel like removing this Aquila lander is just going to be sort of beneficial in the long run, because it takes up a lot of space. And we've still got a bunch of habs. I think, I think Toby must have given me 6 or 7 habs and like a bunch of pieces. So I feel like if we lose the lander, we can have habs at various heights, and it should make it a lot more interesting for Necromunda games and 40k games, just because you can work your way around and up and down and everything. So I think that's what we're going to do with. Also should make it a lot more visually appealing. Not that I'm unhappy with the lander, I really am happy with the colours and everything, but it doesn't offer much in terms of like cover. So I think it's going to politely get the axe. You know I don't watch, I only listen. That's okay, big brain. I know there's probably a few of you who just like to have me yapping on in the background, but occasionally I do show things up to the camera. It does happen. It's known to happen from time to time. Cool, so we need to work out how big this section is. So I think I'm just going to cut out a fairly big piece. And then we'll do what we do a lot on this channel, is eyeball it. Excuse me for a second while I concentrate. I did say I was going to cut it with the scissors, but I think the line in between, or the little gap, is a little bit too thin to actually be cut with the scissors. I feel like I've cut into the transfer. Graham, use the land on the hive wall. I was kind of thinking that, Graham. I think maybe I might have to sort of compress it together a little bit more, but I feel like I might be able to tie it into the Hive City wall. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. If it works, it works. A lot of the time I want it to be sort of ruler cool, so I won't necessarily use something just for the sake of doing it. You know, if it turned out we had to save it for another project, so be it. Because this build is going to have a lot of different stuff on it anyway, so I don't think it will it'll be too much of a loss. Some rocky outcrops for habs. Well, when it comes to the wall, actually, Graham, I kind of already have the wall idea in my head. So obviously I want the ash waste rolling up to meet the walls, and I'm going to put in. So I will crack this out, just because I done it a few streams ago, but obviously not all of you were there at the time, so I'm going to crack these bad boys out to show you. These are very, very cool. So these are from what's it, the Fortress of Redemption. There we go. These fortified pieces are going to make really cool sort of gun emplacements for the Hive City walls. So I got this one with the cannon on, and then we got kind of like a blank one here. But I really want to incorporate these as well. They're quite big, but I think they're going to look really cool. And maybe at different levels as well. So, you know, again, we're going to have a play around with what works and what doesn't. But yeah, I just think they look really, really cool. And they're going to lend themselves very well to the Hive City wall. It's just the shape, you know. The shape is so cool. Fantastic kit. The orange banana. Oh, those are really cool. They are. I've wanted to work with this kit for quite a while, so I'm very grateful to Toby for giving me the opportunity to use these in a piece. The wall will rock. I hope so, Big Brain. I think, judging by your taste, Big Brain, I think you're going to like the wall. Because obviously it's going to be somewhat similar to what we've done with the Golden Throne, but also I'm going to take what I've learned and kind of, you know, apply it to this. Because obviously with this section here, or these 3 wall sections, those wall pieces are just stuck up on MDF. So, you know, obviously we're going to have, it's going to be a little bit different because you're going to be able to look behind the wall and see out the windows. So you're going to have details, essentially what would be like behind that. So, yeah, it's going to be somewhat similar, but also quite different. Toby, I need to see at least 69,392 habs. That's how many you gave me. My car was full of habs. On the way back from Hobby House, Toby was like, all right, here's all the scenery you can fit in your car. I need you to make some stuff. And, you know, I accepted that challenge, but so many habs. So many, so many habs. But we'll get it done. Remember, the habs do stack, so you can do multi-story hab. Yes. Again, I haven't opened any of the boxes yet, so at the moment I am working with habs that some lovely fella has already put together. But there is a lot of what I'm seeing from the existing ones. There is a lot of options for the habs, so I'm looking forward to building some myself and experimenting with them, and yeah, just tying them into the board. The Orange Banana, also insanely jealous of the workspace that you have going on. It's a massive room. I will admit I am incredibly lucky. This studio space, so a little bit of lore here, this studio space, I used to do a lot of drawing and painting. So I did talk about this in a previous stream. I used to spend a lot of time drawing and painting, and it used to be where I wanted to go with kind of like my future. Didn't really work. Like, I've had some exhibitions in the past, but unfortunately, like, kind of, you know, the pandemic rolled around. No one was leaving the house. No one was going to exhibitions and stuff like that. And yeah, I just kind of like soured a little bit on it and lost my love for drawing and painting, which was a bit of a shame. And you know, this was kind of the main space that I would do that sort of creating. And now it's been repurposed to to host the Golden Throne and host some other building projects that I'm doing within the Warhammer hobby. So yeah, incredibly lucky that I have the space, but it wasn't you know, created with the sole purpose of building Warhammer in it. Basically, it was supposed to be for painting. But yeah, so now this thing takes up most of the space, but it does give me an area to work with to do other projects as well, which is very, very fortunate. Cool. All right, so I'm yapping again. What were we going to do? What was I going to do? Yes, I was going to do my hazard stripes. So let's put a couple of these. Alex, I don't know if the fortress bastions were pre-built, but the blank one had a centerpiece that you could flip with missiles underneath. Let's see. These were pre-built, Alex. I don't know whether it was Toby potentially that built these. But yes, it appears that there is a missile sort of silo underneath. I feel, though, like the blank one is very, very cool. Because obviously we can have one with the massive gun emplacement, and then one where you can just, your miniatures can look out onto the ash wastes. Didn't know that, though, Alex. That's very cool. That's a interesting bit of information. The Orange Banana, Nihilist Lore. That is really cool. I know you're pretty preoccupied with Warhammer these days, but would you ever consider going back and doing art and painting? I've toyed with it, the Orange Banana. I've certainly toyed with it, but the thing is, it takes so much time. You know, so what I was doing was I'd done a lot of pen and ink drawings, kind of abstract work that was built up of lots of very small and detailed lines. and it just takes so much time. I love doing it, but the thing is, like, my focus is more on, well, at the moment this, because I'm really, really enjoying this, and I just got so many other responsibilities as well, you know. So I've got to pick and choose what I choose to spend my time doing. And yeah, unfortunately it's just on the back burner for now, but you never know what the future holds. Big Brain, freehand hazard stripes. No, Big Brain, not a chance. Not a chance in hell. I know you would like to do that, Big Brain, but not me. I know you're spending your time painting up those harlequins and making them nice and detailed, but some of us, unfortunately, do not have the same skill level. So some of us have to rely on transfers. But hopefully it's going to look just as good. I will have to clip it to size, but I will offer it up first. So what do we think about there? Bear with me. Yeah, what do I think about there? I'll try not to stick my fingers all over the transfers I've just done. I think that should do it. Oh, and that bit's gone for good. Alright, get back to painting. Do freehand. No. That will happen though, Big Brain. We're obviously going to have to crack out the brush a bit more when we get back to the Golden Throne. I have so many little details to get back to painting. We obviously have our pipes. I think that was the last thing I was working on before I started creating this project. So basically all those silver pipes I still need to do. I need to add some weathering to them. I need to do some LEDs and some... basically the list goes on and on and on, but we will get back to painting with a brush as soon as we are back to working on the Golden Throne. And I don't want to lose my brush skills. I feel like the when people say use it or lose it, that's a very true statement. I have noticed in the past when I have stopped using a paintbrush for a little while for whatever reason, whether it's because I've been building or airbrushing, I do get a little bit rusty. So might have to use a practice model to get back into the flow of things. Okay, let's see if that'll come off now. Might need a wee bit more microset, but we'll see how we get on. How is everyone else's hobby doing this evening? What are you all up to? Is anyone doing any painting? Or are we just chilling out and listening? Listening to Imperium Yapper? I need some more time. I'm going to use a little bit more microset. I think I'm going to need to order another one of these as well. Go through them. They're only little containers, but I don't know whether you can get bigger versions of microset and microsol. But I feel like I'm probably going to need them. Okay, that should be adequately dunked now. Die Orange Banana, no painting, just listening to the live stream. I've made dinner after a nap. Oh, dinner sounds good. I feel like I'm going to have something as soon as the stream ends again. Nice. It's kind of interesting to know what you guys get up to when you're tuning into the stream. Because I feel like in the past, when I've listened to streams, I tend to be working on stuff. I haven't done it for a long time, mind, because obviously most of the time now I am streaming. So I'm just kind of listening to myself and the background music. But it's always interesting to know what you guys are doing. Sometimes I feel like it's nice, well, from my past experience, it was nice kind of just hanging out, you know, and listening to people talk about the hobby as I am doing the hobby. Isaac Schaefer, I'm painting highlights on some Deathwatch models. That sounds good. I'm back, says Tiny Lord. Just in time for more transfers, Tiny Lord. I will be honest, there's a couple of things you guys probably will not see me do on live stream, because when I'm doing like, when I'm painting smaller models, I really have to concentrate and I can't multitask. I know that sounds really lame, but you probably won't see me like edge highlighting or stuff on stream, just because I feel like the amount of concentration I have to put into it, I just couldn't multitask, and it'd be the most boring thing to watch, because you just hear heavy breathing and no talking, or the occasional like, okay, that's done. So I feel like that's probably not going to happen on stream. Nice. Alright, cool. So I don't know if you guys can see from all the way there, but this is the idea anyway. It's to kind of line. Let's see if it picks up. I'm not sure how well that's picking up, but basically lining the side of the hab with some hazard stripes. I don't know whether I'll do the whole hab. I think maybe sort of the main entrances, where you're going to hook on like the walkways and stuff. Just because I think it might be a challenge in itself to line up all those hazard stripes. Ooh, transfers. It's my favourite, Tiny Lord. My favourite part of this hobby is putting transfers on stuff. As lame as that sounds. It just, yeah, I just think it's really cool. And then once you've got your weathering on there, so good. It makes me want to work on a tank soon. I'd really like to just kind of like paint up a tank and use all the weathering techniques, use all the transfers and stuff. And then what else was there? There was something else I really wanted to do as well. I can't remember what that was now. But yeah, I just feel like now I could probably do a tank justice. I remember as a kid really wanting to paint them up. And I had a bunch of Imperial Guard tanks as well, but I just always painted them like crap. So it'd be nice now to actually be able to do it properly. Okay, let's get another one of these. What I should have done... Oh, actually, this works out. I was going to say I probably should have offered the size up to the other hazard stripes, so then I'd have like a good point of reference. But I can do that with this one. Right, so... And I know that this one is a little bit shorter. So, let's cut this out. Alex, still trying to get the multicam wrong on some of the ones... Sorry. Still trying to get the multicam wrong on some of the 1/16th scale plate carriers and backpacks. You have to shut down your brain painting multicam. So it should not be a problem for me, but it is tricky. So you feel the pain there, Alex. You understand my my struggles. It's just one of those things, like certain elements of hobbying, I'm quite, you know, good at multitasking. I say that as I stutter my way through that sentence. But, you know, a lot of the time I can do it for stuff like transfers, dry brushing, building. But when it comes to painting details, like if I was going to paint eyes on a miniature's face, whilst talking to you guys, I would probably butcher the miniature. Just because I feel like my brain doesn't have that capacity to multitask those two things. Okay. But you never know, like from when we started streaming, way back last year, before I took a break, I do feel like I've got a little bit better at multitasking and talking about things as I'm doing them. So you never know, it could get to a stage where I'm capable of doing some detailed painting while talking. But at the moment, I just can't see that happening. Okay, let's get another one of these on. This little hab in particular has taken a lot longer than I was expecting it to. And I feel like that's just because I've gone a little bit crazy with these transfers. But it's going to look the part when you guys are playing on it. So, hopefully it's worth it. Right, so what I'm going to do now, that I didn't do last time, is I'm going to offer this up to the rest of the hazard stripes, just so I can get the exact size instead of having to remeasure it every time. So there we go. Where's my knife? Cool. Just put a mark there for reference, and that's going to make things a lot easier for the last two that I'm going to apply. And whenever I get some time to work on this next, I don't think it's going to be tomorrow because I'm the birthday boy tomorrow, so I'm not going to do any hobbying. I am just going to chill out for the day, spend some time with my partner, and enjoy myself, I think. Say take a day off like this is a job I don't enjoy doing, but yeah, I think I'll probably be back working on the project. Well, I will be back on Wednesday for Wednesday's stream, but tomorrow is going to be a little bit of a break. Okay. Isaac Schaefer. The only time I've seen someone make painting detail work while interacting with chat is when there is a producer present as well. See, that makes sense, Isaac. I'm glad you brought that up, actually, because I feel like painting detail requires a lot of concentration. So being able to multitask talking to people and reading chat whilst doing that is just really difficult. So it does make sense that you would have someone else there. Fry guy, whoop whoop. Alex, you improvise, you overcome, you adapt. Is that referencing Bear Grylls? Are we going back to that that Glenn question about Bear Grylls? I think I can do that to a certain extent though, Alex. I think I can improvise and overcome, but not in the detail front. The detail happens off camera. Aye, I heard correctly, happy birthday. Thank you very much, Orange Banana, but technically not for another 2 hours and 12 minutes. But after then, it's going to be Birthday Boy. And Birthday Boy is gonna just chill out. I'm gonna lie in bed for a little bit tomorrow morning, and I'm just gonna chill out for the day. All right, so let's fish this out. Let's fish this out if it wants to play ball. Again, I couldn't find. Some of you are probably looking at this and you're like, why is he using a pair of pliers for transfers? Now, if you weren't here at the beginning of the stream, you missed the part where basically I am so unorganized I didn't prepare my tweezers and I don't know where I've put them. So it was either spend like half an hour looking for the tweezers and probably still not finding them. I mean, I still can't see them anywhere. Or just, as Alex says actually, improvise, adapt and overcome. So I've already done it this stream. Clint Eastwood in Heartbreak Ridge. I haven't seen that, Alex. Unfortunately, I can't get that reference. I'm really sorry. Oh, unless that is you improvise, you overcome, and you adapt. I see. I understand now. Noted, Tiny Lord. Ooh, noted. Thy Orange Banana. Chilling out on the birthday is always a great plan. 10 out of 10 recommend. Highly underrated. The thing is, like, I'm not like a party person. So what I want to do is just kind of do nothing and eat food, as bad as that sounds. You know, I just want to fill my face and do nothing with the day. That is a good birthday for me. I feel like it's a very Hobbit-esque birthday. So what were you thinking of that plastic custodian set? You've got yourself a box yet? It's on the list, Tiny Lord. I would like to add one to the throne room for sure. It's mainly, right, looking at that box, is mainly the Telemon. The Telemon looks absolutely fantastic. But, haven't got one yet. I think it's up for pre-order next week. So maybe that will be the time, but love it. In fact, the main reason I'm eyeballing it is because, one, the Telemon for the throne room, but two, now some of you might not have heard this, because I haven't really talked about the throne for a while, but these wall sections, I feel like we should have something a little bit more dynamic going on. So one of my ideas was to get some clear, like, was it the plexi, like, perspex rods, sorry, and gluing them on, and then having like the jet bikes on the end of the rods, so it looks like they're flying through the throne room. So that's kind of a possibility, and that's why I've been eyeballing it. The orange banana, it's hardly bad. I want to do that. It's hardly bad. I want to do that. It sounds like a fantastic way to spend the birthday. Thank you, the orange banana. I think you understand. I think the orange banana gets it. Yeah, because I feel like as you get older, you don't really get much of an opportunity to do nothing. So being able to spend your birthday chilling out and, you know, having some time for yourself is lovely, you know. Big Brain, my birthday is mid-exams, yay! Well, surely you can afford yourself a few hours break, Big Brain, if you've done enough studying. Surely, because by the time you're in your exams, you should have all your studying under your belt, shouldn't you, Big Brain? So you could treat yourself to a few hours, maybe? Sorry, guys. Again, I'm going to kind of go quiet for a sec while I try and line up this hazard stripe. There we go. I feel like that's straight enough. And obviously it's going to adhere a little bit better once it has some varnish on it, just to sort of seal the deal. But yeah, okay, cool. I'm happy with that. Tiny Lord, oh, that would be cool. I did kind of like, I've been sitting on it for a while, Tiny Lord. So when I seen the jet bikes first kind of talked about, I wondered how I could incorporate them into the throne room, and yeah, that just kind of that happened to be a method that I think would make it look interesting. Because if I just keep them on the bases and leave them on the floor, I don't think it's going to look that good. So yeah, some way of making it look a little bit more dynamic. Because obviously the throne room is massive, so you'd be able to fly a jet bike around it. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Alex, not that I don't love Bear Grylls, insane man with courageous optimism. Yeah, he was interesting enough. He's very, I'd say he's courageous. He's courageous. I would want him with me to keep me alive. I think that was one of Glenn's questions about being stuck on a desert island, and I chose Bear Grylls because obviously he's the man to keep you alive. We have project exams. I feel sorry for you then, Big Brain. That's an unfortunate time to have a birthday. I'm sorry about that. It doesn't work out for you. At least it's not all the time, huh, Big Brain? Pardon me. Alright, let's get a few of these on, because I've already marked them out. So I've got another 2 to do for this sort of hab thing. But it's the start, it's a very productive start of what will be like our little hab town. So as you can imagine, let me just clip him onto his base here. Let's do a little bit of a visual representation, shall we? Just before I get to Gloom Creature's comment there that I seen pop up. So if we remove the Aquila lander for just a second, because I think it is going to go, to be fair, guys. And you'll see these blank patches on the board. I think we'll just fill them with a little bit of sand, and they'll be easy enough to blend in. So basically you won't have those empty chunks. But yeah, I think it leaves us like more of an opportunity to get these habs involved and just have more habs. So this little piece I could actually put somewhere else as a little, I don't know, a little radar outpost. But yeah, look how much space we get when we move the lander away. So you can imagine another hab or 2 there. Oh, I think it's going to look way better. Honestly, think it will look way better without the lander. So I think that's what we are going to do. Gloom Creature, wow, I fell asleep on my desk, but I have to get a painting quota. I have a painting quota to meet tonight. Need to wake up and get started. You better get on that, Gloom Creature. Depending on where you are, it's 10 o'clock here in the UK. Tiny Lord leaves more room for the floor standing custodians. Yes, yes. Well, I mean, the thing is, going back to the Golden Throne here. Obviously, I packed away all the custodians that I have for this build, but there is loads, and they do take up a lot of space. Oh, there's a few on the wall here. But yeah, so there, you know, what I want is like a kind of nice balance as well with custodies, is not having too many, because originally the plan was like 300. But when you get 100 custodies on this board, which is pretty much what we have at the moment, it fills it up. You know, it looks very, very busy. So I feel like if we were going to get 300, it'd be too much. So adding these custodians is not going to overcrowd it too much, because you'll have the jet bikes coming out of the wall there. And Telemon, not really sure I want the Telemon yet, but I don't think he's going to get in the way too much, basically. Right, so let us continue here. Take this piece back. But yeah, I know I kind of parroted on about this, but I'm really happy with the way that this sort of pad is looking at the moment. And if I can achieve a similar thing with the habs, I will be over the moon. Tiny Lord, are me, Big Brain, and the other guy still the only named custodian members? I don't believe so at the moment, actually, Tiny Lord. I think Ginger Steve, who was here earlier, has that as well. He is a Constantine Valdor, and so is Fragi, if I am not mistaken. So there's a couple of you now, actually, and most of you, well, actually 3 out of 4 of you, I think it's 3 out of 4 of you, because you haven't given me a name yet, Tiny Lord, have you? Big Brain has given me a name, but you haven't, Fragi hasn't yet, and Ginger Steve hasn't yet. Fragi, yeah, see? I got a group, I got a little group of you, but yes, 4 of you now then. So we need 4 names. Well, we need 3 names because I've got Fragi as well. But I really appreciate you guys supporting at that tier as well. It really, really helps, and as I said, it means I can do more of this and hang out with you guys and build scenery on on live stream, basically. Fragi, I haven't either. But the thing is, guys, well, don't forget that obviously you can send me messages whenever. Like, we're all on Discord, so there's no you don't have to like speed it up, because obviously we still have so much to do. So you have plenty of time to think about a name, and you know, when I get to printing off the little plaques for it, you know, you will be notified. So do not panic. Cool. All right, let's get these 2 on. Anyway, I digress. Yes, I haven't given any name yet. But as I said, Tiny Lord, you've got all the time in the world, you guys. Because, you know, we're still working our way through this project for Hobby House. But when we get back to the throne, we still need to finish painting it. And then we need to paint the custodies. So I think you guys are okay in terms of time. But obviously when you do come up with a name that you're happy with, just drop me a message and let me know. And make sure you get your spelling correct. We wouldn't want any mistakes. Right. Now when I come to assemble some of these habs in the very near future, they will be assembled without the roof on them, just because then for gameplay you can take it off and you can you know, move your miniatures around inside the hab, and also it will allow me to pick out all of the details inside the hab. Again, I'm not going to go too crazy with them, but I would like a few little kind of things to be picked out within them. Okay, so let's go for this again. Submerge. Just got to remind myself to get more microset now. We're on the last third of it, I reckon. Just go through it. I'm certainly going to need a lot more for the throne room. Right, Just need a drink. And don't forget as well, guys, when we have got back to the throne room, and when I feel we have made an adequate dent in what we still have left to do, there are a few other things that I also want to do. So obviously I've discussed in the past about our kind of homage to John Blanche in terms of like the true emperor. We also have like a perfect opportunity to do it just because of the way that this happens to be built. So obviously behind the golden throne at the top there, and also these kind of levels below, it's just a flat back to this diorama. So when we want to, we can essentially put another piece of MDF up behind it and kind of like build another section behind. So what I was thinking is having a little room for our true emperor, which will be a much more mangled looking emperor. Because the idea is that Matey Boy sat on the throne is not the true emperor. He is just there for all the pilgrims to come and worship, I guess, and observe. But the true emperor is actually behind somewhere, kind of like in a what do you call it? Like a vat kind of tank thing, and no one gets to see him apart from the custodies, and maybe some very, very privileged mechanicum tech priests to make sure everything is working. So that's one of the ideas. Yes, is the true emperor where the big brain bat going? It is. It is. But as I said, we are going to make sure that we progress enough with what we have on the table, because I feel like adding to it before we've made a little bit more progress is going to be counterintuitive, but it is something that I would like to do. A few of the other ideas that have been floated, which I do find interesting, but again, it's another problem for another time, is the gap in between the back there, so that kind of, which is deliberate because it's so when we have a game or two on there, you can reach over and grab your miniatures. But the idea was floated to have like a backdrop as well, so that's potentially something that could be done. And what was the other thing? There was one more thing. There's one more thing that I would like to do, like definitely, but again, time is, it's the webway gate, that's it, or the remnants of the webway gate. I would like to do that as well. I did have a little bit of time to think about that, and I think the way that I would do a webway gate is probably similar to the way that I've done the wall sections, is probably just a few more Zone Mortalis tiles, like another extension that way, and then building something that represents the webway gate on that extension. So that is the idea. But whether we get round to it or not, we will have to wait and see. Straighten this up a little bit more. Make sure I don't nudge the other ones. There we go. I think that looks pretty good to me. And yeah, we just have one more side to do. And then that one is done, even though it's taken way longer than I thought it was going to take. Because we've been streaming for 2 hours and 4 minutes. And we haven't finished this one yet. So let's get it done. Okay. Let's get this last bit cut out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to starting, talking about a project that is here and now. I am very much looking forward to starting the build for Section 3 on stream, So we're definitely going to do that at some point, and you guys will get to see the process and probably the very chaotic thought process behind building it on stream. Because I'm thinking, like, why not stick it together, start showing you guys the rough layout for it, and yeah, constructing it on stream. So we are going to be doing that as well. Probably sometime in September, I'm hoping. Because we still got a week or so left of August, which should give us a lot of time to get this somewhat complete, and then move on to section 3. Because as I said, I'm not doing it in a way that every section is 100% finished before I move on. It's more just making sure that most of it is done, so I can come back and add details later, basically. So yeah, sometime in September we will be streaming that. So for those of you who are keen to see a massive Hive City wall, you're going to want to be there. We'll be using a large mixture of kits. We'll be using the old school, well, not old school, but we'll be using some of the discontinued Imperial Sector kits. We'll also be using some Zone Mortalis kits. There'll be details from whatever I've got kicking around in the studio here. So it should be pretty interesting. And yes, very chaotic as well. So buckle up. I think you guys kind of know what to expect there after watching a few of these streams. I think you know how it's going to play out. I'm going to need the knife for this one. Ugh. It's not playing ball. Okay, I think it needs a bit more of a bath. Yeah, so I think we'll do a little bit more and then probably call it for this stream. It's been cool to show you guys the process of how I'm going to address the pads moving forward. I've got a few of these to do. There's one up there actually that you guys can see, because I've got the double hab and then I got another single hab. I've got a load of habs that are still on the sprue, so lots of work still left to do. Hopefully this is submerged enough now and ready to play ball. It would be that the last one would decide not to work. Right, come on. This has been a relatively pain-free stream. Not much has gone wrong. So hopefully... There we go. These are definitely the fiddlier transfers. Anything that's quite long is definitely very fiddly when it comes to applying it. There we go. Tiny Lord, it's been nice to not accidentally miss a stream. It's been good to have you back, Tiny Lord. I know you've been on your trip recently, which I hope went very, very well. But it's nice to have you back on the streams. As I kind of mentioned earlier, I did do a stream on Saturday this week, which is what I am able to do with the backing of my members, so you wonderful green names. Obviously, supporting this channel enables me to offer more streams and just do them more regularly, which I always enjoy doing. But yeah, yesterday we managed to add a bunch of sand. So in the past few days, like, this board has come together really, really well and quite quickly. So on yesterday's stream, I was able to give it a coat of PVA with sand and just kind of like tie everything together. And because we were able to do that on the Saturday, it means today I was able to get the base coats down. So we are in a good position for Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever I do a little bit more work on it. And yeah, it's very useful having that extra time. Yes, flight back is tomorrow afternoon, so I'll be able to send through some pics on the 25th. I look forward to it, Tiny Lord. I very much look forward to it. Again, that's another thing that's worth mentioning to any of you who are watching who are new. We have a Discord in the description to this video. I should have brought this up way earlier, but hey. We have a community Discord in the description to this video. Basically, we just kind of share what we're working on. I share pictures of this Ash Waste project and obviously everything that I'm doing. And eventually, when we get back to the throne, I'll be posting pictures on there of that as well. So if you want to come along and hang out and share what you're working on and just keep up to date with the projects, then consider joining. Cool, let's just make sure this is straight before I move on. I say that and I stick the knife in the middle and make it crooked. Well done. Fantastic work. Awesome. All right, that is looking good. So I am going to show you guys how we are getting on. See if so that's all our basic transfers for the top, and then on the side, I know that light is reflecting off that. I've put the hazard stripes on each side, just so it looks a little bit more interesting when it's on the table. And they won't look this stark because obviously I've got to do some weathering, so there'll be a little bit of chipping, and it'll look a bit more natural, not like it was painted yesterday. Cool. All right, and then I also, at some stage, I won't do it now because it does need to fully dry, I'll go over it with my Microsol and just flatten it all out, and then it'll be a case of giving it a varnish, and that'll be it. So, I'm thinking, do I do a couple more? What do I do? Do I start on another one? Do I do a couple more transfers? Should I make full use of Sunday night streaming? What do you think? What do you think, Tiny Lord? Should I make full use of the materials I have at my disposal and the time? Because we could do a couple of transfers on this. Again, this isn't going to be yellow. This is just going to stay. You know, I want to add the yellow to habs that have big sort of flat open spaces. This, there's not really much point in doing any yellow, but it can have some transfers. So I could probably do some of our warning symbols. It'd look quite good on this, I think. And they don't require much effort, so I might just go for it. More screen time, says Tiny Lord. Let's do it. Let's hang around for a little bit longer. I got time to watch. Yeah, let's get some more done. Do it, Frag, he says, do it. Yeah, come on then, let's go for it. I am thinking we use some of these little yellow warning symbols. I feel like I use these all of the time. Like every opportunity I can, I use the warning symbols. They're just really cool. They are really, really cool. So I think we'll stick one. Might get some AdMech on here as well, actually. Maybe just around the pole. Sad chat, sad chat. Nihilus, Nihilus. Light orange banana, woo! Yeah, let's do it. It's not like I gotta be up for work tomorrow, huh? Birthday boy can stay in bed. So I've got justification for streaming later this evening. Okay, let's find, so I'll use one of these first. I think we'll use one of these little warning symbols. But yeah, I am incredibly happy with this. Again, I know there's lots of back patting that goes on this channel, but I'm just really happy with that. And I feel like it's not often, you know, I mean, it's not like it's rare, but it's not as often that you are 100% happy with what you do, but I'm very happy with the way that looks. So, Big Brain, my lecture is at 2 o'clock tomorrow. Best of luck with that. Have you been enjoying the lectures you've had, Big Brain? Because I know you said you started a while ago. Or fairly recently. Fraga, you thought of your custodian much? Tiny Lord asks. Okay, which one are we going to use? Let's go for this one. I'm starting to think the yellow is going to look really good, because for those bigger habs, I'm obviously going to paint the walls. I don't think I'll paint the little lid and the roof. I'll probably paint that like a lead belcher colour. But I'm thinking for the walls and everything, I'll probably copy the yellow just to keep it all in theme. But I feel like it's going to look really good. I'm pretty hyped for this project now. I'm hyping myself up. Let's get another one of these on the go. And obviously one of the things that I've gone for, a bit of a design choice, is for the habs, I've decided to go for a lead belcher as opposed to what I've done with like a makeshift bridge, where I used kind of rusty colours. Just because I feel like the habs will be here, you know, they wouldn't have been out in the ash waste as long as everything else. So I still want them to have that kind of feel that they're not completely ancient. And obviously it'll kind of contrast with our ruined manufactorum, which is going to be built up of rusty pieces. So yeah, I feel like it's gonna look quite good. I'm happy. I'm happy at the moment. That could always change. Obviously, things could go sideways, but at the moment it's all kind of working out. Let's get that up here. Another little thing that I'm thinking of with these kind of antennas is I've got a few Necromunda computers that come with the Zone Mortalis kit. So I'm probably going to stick one of those on and paint that up just as a little console, because I feel like these antenna arrays would have something you could use on them, basically. Alex, the yellow platform looks like it could be perfect hatch for an elevator down if that was placed flat on a piece. It could do, couldn't it? It does look like it could go up and down. I'm not really sure what I'm going to put on that. I might put like a few cargo or little containers on it, not the big ones, like the little ammunition ones. But it does kind of look like a kind of lift elevator platform. But yeah, this is my first time sort of working with these kits, but I feel like they're going to grow to become a favourite fast, basically. What else do we want? I did want like some Mechanicus symbols for this one as well, just to show who runs the place. So maybe a little one that'll fit in this patch would be quite good. Or maybe this patch, actually. I feel like most of the time I'm kind of rushing to get to the part, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but when I'm working on bigger projects, I feel like I always want to get to the stage where I can add details, you know? So I feel like I kind of speed through it just so I can start painting up little bits that go on the board. It's where I thrive. Because obviously it's fun painting some of the larger elements, like the bridge and the ruined dome. But it's really the small little additions that I think add the most character. Because I'm thinking of adding like a little shrine inside of that ruined dome. Maybe something similar to what I'd done with my little Redemptionist outpost, where I had a bunch of candles in front of a statue. I feel like something like that inside the dome could be quite cool. Tiny Lords, you know, I don't think I've ever asked how you were going to base the custodians to make them fit in with the throne room. Well, Tiny Lord, I'm about to blow your mind, because they're not going to be based. It's just going to be the miniature assembled straight onto the diorama. It's what I've done with my first smaller Emperor of Mankind diorama, and it's what I'm going to do here, and I just feel like it looks way better. It feels like more of an actual scene and a proper diorama when there's no bases involved. And I'm not going to glue the miniatures down, well, not straight away. So for the first part, obviously it's going to see a few games, but then after that I will just kind of like stick the miniatures to it. I might try and find a way to do it so I don't have to glue them permanently, but yeah, there's not going to be any bases involved, Tiny Lord. It's going to be miniature straight on the diorama. Alex, I've just watched too many sci-fi and end of the world movies, games of the same sort. Rottens your mind. I don't know, for the better though, Alex. Sci-fi is my favourite. It is absolutely fantastic. I need to watch something sci-fi related soon, because I don't think I've watched a sci-fi film, or a good sci-fi film, for quite a while now. In fact, I can't remember the last one I watched that I really, really enjoyed. It's been that long. There we go. That's a good little transfer. How will the nameplates work? So, Tiny Lord, the nameplates, I'm thinking, is I'm going to try and get them 3D printed. And obviously we've got this kind of section here, this big black border. What I'm thinking of doing is getting them, well, depending on how many people we end up with that have signed up at like the named custodian tier, we will stick them here. So I've got to decide on the size yet. Obviously, depending on, we see how many we have to fit. But yeah, I'm thinking of tidying this up. So probably give this another nice coat of black paint and just make sure it all looks very presentable. And then I'm going to stick the little nameplates. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. I'm going to stick the little nameplates to it, and I'll probably paint them up in like some kind of metallic scheme. But that'll be the idea. And then you will be your character, your custody, will be like permanently affixed to the piece, to the throne. I keep saying piece because I feel like it's had that much time spent on it now. It's got to be like my own piece of art, basically. So I keep calling it the piece. But yeah, that's the idea, Tiny Lord, is a little name plaque that's stuck to the throne room. And it's worth noting that, because there might be a few people here, I think Alex potentially, anyone who supports on Patreon, there is also a similar thing there. So there's going to be a few names mixed in from both YouTube and Patreon. There we go, that's nice and straight. Cool. I'm just going to decide, I'm going to have a little think, because it feels like it needs something else. But it's weird with these, because there's not really that much space for transfers. You can only really put little ones on. I could do the sides of it again with some hazard stripes, though. Ah, so the nameplate won't be next to the mini. That wasn't the thought that I had, Tiny Lord, just to keep things a little bit, uncluttered. I don't want too much going on in terms of, like, extra things on the board, but I feel like the role of honors here should do pretty well. And obviously you guys choosing which custody is yours, you will be able to identify and be like, there's mine, and there I am on the board. But yeah, that was the idea, Tiny Lord. Hopefully that's not too disappointing. Fingers crossed. Die Orange Banana, thank you for an awesome live stream. I'm going to have to pop to bed now because of work in the morning, but have a great day, TMR, and enjoy your birthday lay-in. Thank you very much, Die Orange Banana. And thank you for stopping by for the stream. It's been awesome to have you here, and hopefully I will see you again soon. Yeah, I hope work gets off to a good start for you. But thank you very much. Yeah, Tiny Lord says good night as well. It's been good to have you. Okay, cool. So back to it though. What was I going to do? Am I going to put some hazard stripes on this one? I could, because it would match our other section that we've already done. Why not? Let's do it. And then I think that'll be it for this evening. I think I'll put these ones on. I'll put these 4 sections of hazard stripes on, and then we will call it a night. In fact, I might not even get the 4 on. I might get 2 on and call it a night, because it's starting to get to that time. And there was me thinking, right, that yesterday, on Saturday, our day stream was the longest stream so far. But I have a feeling now that we're going to top it tonight. Alex, a tarpaulin draped over it, be the constant wind. That is a good idea. I've actually still got a few left, actually, Alex. I've done a few of these tarps, which I think look quite cool. I do need to go back and put some ink effects on the ones I've already glued down. But these are basically just, what do you call them, like antibacterial wipes. And what I've done is I have dried them out, sprayed them with Death Guard green, and you can scrunch them up so they look like actual tarps that have, you know, got wrinkles in them. And I mix them with a bit of water and PVA and then stick them to whatever they need to stick to. But yes, that could look very cool, like a tarp or a bit of tarp hanging over one of the antenna arrays. So I dig that idea, Alex. I think that will probably be implemented. Tiny Lord, well, I had just been thinking that if I picked the Telemon, I could ship something to put on his base. I'll just have to find a different way to make my mini unique. Well, we'll have a think. I will have a think. I will have a think about it if there's a more interesting way I could incorporate it. But that was the idea that I had thought of that would be the least intrusive. And obviously you guys would still be visible on the diorama, because that is the idea, to have your name kind of there so that you are associated with it. But I will have a think to see if there's any other way it could be implemented, and we'll go from there. Right, let's get this measured up. Realised I cut this one a little bit too big because I was thinking about the last ones that we've already done. So let's go for about there. I mean, these don't have to be perfect, because it's okay to have a little bit of space in between them. That'll do. Alright, perfect. I wonder if I should just offer it up to the ones that are still on the sheet, just so I don't have to get the size every time, because that's what takes the most amount of time, is just making sure the size is right. Just leave a little mark. Cool beans. Of course it would not be a straight mark though. That's what I was saying earlier. Sometimes I'm a little bit cack-handed when it comes to using the craft knife. It's probably down to being left-handed, I would say. It's funny, in primary school they always used to give you like the left-handed scissors, and I feel like the left-handed scissors were harder to use than just using right-handed scissors on your left hand. Didn't really see the point, and I still kind of don't. Okay, so there we go. We got two sets of hazard stripes, the same size. And in fact, just before I continue again, I'm going to do the same thing, because then it means we can get all 4 down before we wrap up for this evening. It's been awesome to have you guys on the stream this evening. Fair play to those of you guys who have been here since the beginning, because we have been going for a fair bit of time now. We've been going for 2.5 hours. So I appreciate you guys hanging in there for the whole 2.5 hours. get them submerged. And may as well start cutting the other two out. And then yeah, we've hit a pretty good milestone, I think, this evening. So like I say, I feel like every stream just seems to get better and better in terms of what we manage to achieve on stream. So it gives me a lot of hope for the future. And I'm hoping that, you know, we get to work on a bunch of other projects together, as well as revisiting the Golden Throne and getting some more paintwork done on that. But if all goes according to plan, you know, we might be working on a few other projects in the future, which would be really nice, because it means we get to kind of like explore some different areas of the 40k universe, because there's loads of other scenery pieces that I would like to try and have a go at. I want to do some jungle themed stuff. I wouldn't mind doing like a proper city fight piece of scenery. Don't the scissors have a point, says Big Brain. I didn't really know how it worked, because the scissors were the same in terms of shape, Big Brain. It was just which side the blades came down on. But it never really seemed to make a difference to me. I always ended up using the right-handed scissors. I think it just has something to do with which side comes down where. So yeah, not too sure. It wasn't about point. They didn't give us scissors with points in primary school, that's for sure. They were blunt, very, very blunt. Okay. Let's get one of these out. There we go. I just got to try not to drop it on the floor. That was a little bit fiddly. Okay. Alex, you have a point there. Well, I didn't at the time. That was the problem. Okay. Okay, so it turns out our hazard stripe is a little bit longer than it needs to be, so it kind of wraps around a little bit, but it's okay because it's sort of it's not like a proper straight edge, if that makes sense. So it looks all right. Big Brain, I got to play with knives during primary school, so I think scissors were pointy. Not here, Big Brain. I don't know what school is like in Norway giving kids sharp knives, but it does not work like that here. I can assure you that. Although, granted, I know you are younger, so maybe things have changed, but yeah, back when I was in school, they didn't give you anything pointy. Okay, one of these has decided it's gonna come off. Ah! I just pulled that one right off. Oh, that sounded bad. Okay, so let's see if we can get this to work. To be fair, I probably shouldn't have just dumped them all in the microset and hoped for the best. Should have done them one by one, but I was getting a little bit impatient. Big Brain, I love whittling. You're a whittler, are you, Big Brain? What do you whittle? Pointy sticks, just? What are you whittling, Big Brain? I haven't whittled for a long time. I went through a phase of trying to whittle a spoon, I don't think it came out too good. Okay. Apologies, I'm a little bit more quiet. I just have to make sure that I get this straight. Otherwise, it's going to annoy me every time I see it. There we go. I have a wizard staff. A wizard staff, Big Brain. How long does it take to whittle a wizard staff? That sounds like a tongue twister. Okay, I think I have... Okay, yeah, I have. I managed to mess up that transfer. That's a pain in the ass. Alright, let's try and rescue this one before the same thing happens. Ah, come on. Oh, come on. It would be the last, like, 10 minutes of the stream things start going wrong. Ah, you pain in the ass. So, alright, I've learned something here. I've learned a very valuable lesson, guys. You cannot leave the transfers in your microset for too long, otherwise they will just dissolve. So that was, that's handy. Well, we know that now. He's a wizard. Do you know who's not a wizard, Tiny Lord? Me. I'm not a wizard. I thought I had the transfer thing down. I was like, okay, we're doing well. And I just managed to absolutely mess that up. And I've messed up this one now as well. What the fuck? Oh no, it's all going wrong. It's all going wrong. But maybe, I put that one quite close to the top. Maybe I can just put this one close to the top as well. What a pain in the ass. Okay. It's fine. We're just going to move this one a little bit higher up to match the one on the other side. Thing is, when these are stuck to the table, I don't think anyone is really going to notice or care. But I feel like I will. Okay, let's just do the same on this side. Cool. All right. So, I think we're going to leave it there because I feel like at the moment, if I do another 2 of those and I mess them up, I'm going to lose the plot. Oh dearie me, exactly, Tiny Lord. Oh dearie me. It would go wrong in the last 10 minutes or 5 minutes. But that'll do, and the thing is, once they're weathered, that's going to be fine. You're really not going to notice. You're not going to be looking at both sides at the same time. So it's not a big problem. I sent images of my of the staff on Discord. I will check that out this evening, Big Brain. After I've packed up for the for the evening, put all the stream stuff away, I will have a look. That's what we call experience transfer. Do you know what, Alex? I thought I had it down. But I learned a lesson this evening. You can't leave them in microset because they just will start falling to pieces. But, okay, so we've managed to mainly do that one. We obviously finished our nice big open pad. So we've achieved something this stream. It has been a productive stream. I say that every time I say it's a productive stream, but it is. The day it isn't, I will say, this has been a very unproductive stream. I'm never doing this again. Cool. Okay, that's quite a staff. Alright, I'm going to need to check this out. Alright guys, that brings us to the end of the Sunday night stream. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. I know some of you guys have been here for the whole 2.5 hours, so I appreciate having you guys around. Obviously, we will be back streaming again on Wednesday evening next week. That will be the last day until the following week that I'll be streaming, just because I'll be on holiday. I will be chilling out in Switzerland and exploring. So yeah, then we'll be streaming the following week. Other than that, thank you very much for your support. Please stick a like on the stream if you enjoyed it. If you're new, consider becoming a green name and joining our little gang we've got going on here. Also got the Discord for those of you who want to come and hang out and show what you're working on. And we also... what's the other thing now? Yeah, brain's gone. That's what you get. 20 to 11 and the brain absolutely goes. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Check out my links in the video description. I will see you guys on Discord. Thank you very much and see you next week, guys.